At the beginning of last month, the Sapera community of Delhi found itself in the middle of a controversy, gleaming with headlines on snake charmers, snake venom being supplied at rave parties. An FIR was registered, and at the center of this explosive case was Big Boss OTT winner Elvish Yadav and 5 men from Delhi's Molarban village nestled in the outskirts of Badarpur. While the 5 men are now out on bail, when ThePrint went on ground, we found that this tiny Sapera Basti continues to deal with the stigma of their livelihood that was banned several decades ago under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So when we started digging deeper by going on ground and finding out the investigation details, a lot of it came out. Mayank will now tell our viewers what the probe has revealed and what the Noida police have claimed to have found.
Well, Bismi, the Noida police claim to have recovered snakes, including cobras from the men. A trap was led by a decoy from People for Animal, an NGO run by BJP MP Maneka Gandhi. And on that thing, allegedly, they found snakes. Some of them were cobra as well, which is banned as per the Wildlife Protection Act, and also venom. So what transpired after that raid and the arrest of these men are the questions on several fronts. If the Sapera community continues to practice their traditional form of livelihood, that is supplying of snakes and also going to parties and supplying snake venoms.
Now, just to let our viewers know, Mayank, is that the police have claimed that snakes including cobras were found at the party, and 20 ml of liquid suspected to be snake venom was also allegedly recovered at the same spot. However, only forensic sciences and their reports after proper analysis and scientific evaluation will ascertain these facts. However, at the heart of all of these are also questions on the alternative forms of livelihood for these people once labelled born criminals by the British government, and how they continue to struggle to be a part of the mainstream society.
Right. So why they are struggling to become part of the mainstream society is that the Saperas, a denotified nomadic tribe, made a living of snake charming until the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 banned the ownership of wild animals. And there are shows featuring snake charmings were formally banned in 1991, with the practice surrounded by allegations of cruelty, like the snakes being defanged and also their mouths sewn shut. So there have also been accusations of snakes being starved so that they drink milk, something reptiles don't generally consume and they can't digest, but these are usually practiced on days such as Nag Panchami.
At the Molarban village, that is home to approximately 500 families, all of whom are related to one another, tales of the snake charmers' glory days are shared with pride, including trips around the world for performances. Even without snakes, their alternative modes of livelihood have been involved in orchestra performances using the same beans that they once used for snake charming purposes. Now, when Mayank and I visited the families of these 5 men that were arrested in this particular explosive case, they showed us their alternative modes of livelihood. They perform, as they told us, in birthday parties, at home functions, in farmhouses, where they get calls wearing their costumes, and then they go there with their dolls, their beans and other musical instruments. They also showed us various pictures and certificates of their performances in Italy and Spain and other parts and fairs in India. There's still a hue and cry, however, in this Basti, that the people of this community have been further pushed down the social ladder with this particular case.
Well, the immediate families of these men said that snakes were planted by the PFA. Local residents told ThePrint that this must have been an act of desperation. Everyone in the community, however, echoed a similar sentiment on one front, questioning how this ban has been beneficial and, if at all, it prevents cruelty against snakes. One of the eldest in the community, 80-year-old Sishanath, recalled that After the ban was imposed, there was a period of starvation in that particular village. It is then that the people of this community started forming orchestra parties. However, now with these cases, they expressed fear over losing business and even being forced to change their costumes.
Now we'll just go back to what history has told us and the sociological milieu related to the Sapera community. To talk about the Sapera community, we have to go back to the time of the Britishers and after India's independence. In 1952, tribes labeled criminal by the British administration were denotified. They are now called the Denotified Nomadic Tribes or DNTs. Apart from the Saperas, these include the Banjaras, Bedias, Sanses and Irulas. According to a 2017 report prepared by the National Commission on Denotified, Notified and Semi-Nomadic Tribes, chaired by social worker Bhikkhu Ramji Idate, 64% of DNTs are not categorized as scheduled tribes, scheduled caste and other backward classes, which could have helped them access education and job quotas. Experts cite the need for systemic mechanisms in order to bring them into mainstream society for transition from their traditional livelihoods in order to help them live in the modern society and adhere to its laws. They called for a policy framework with legal safeguards and, most importantly, empathetic acceptance of them as equal citizens.
Well, the Commission's report further says that the DNT people have mentioned that due to the stigma that they face of criminals bestowed upon them in the past, they are still treated as criminals and tortured by local administration and police. While the Sapera community does have reservation under SC, ST and also OBC categories, it varies across states. Speaking to ThePrint, BK Lodi, who was the Deputy Secretary of the same commission, said that there was a need to provide unified upliftment policies for DNTs and NTs. They continue to live with the stigma of being categorized as repeat offenders and labeled born criminals. It is important that all DNTs are put together in one category for easy to access government benefits. He said, and I quote, Professor Vijay Raghavan, who runs Tanda, a project that reaches out to the nomadic and denotified tribes in Maharashtra, said that lack of rallying figure such as Bhimrao Ambedkar was for Dalits, has not helped the cause of these tribal people across the country.
Now back at Moolarban village, nestled in outskirts of Delhi, the hue and cry continues. Across India, the denotified tribe communities are struggling to be mainstreamed. A lot of experts that ThePrint spoke to, and you can read what they have said in a text copy that we will be putting as a link below the YouTube channel's description of this particular video, have cited the need to regularize and standardize education for the people of this community so that their children continue to go to schools. Reservation, experts have told us, is a matter that comes later. First, we as a society need to be more welcoming and empathetic towards the people of the Sapera community and other communities that fall under the category of denotified tribes. For ThePrint, this is Bismita Skin
and Man Kumar.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our social media handles for more such ground reports, news and analysis.